This short film will explain in detail the procedure necessary to overhaul the CV carburetors fitted to the 3-cylinder Suzuki Gt750. We're going to remove the carbs by firstly removing the fuel hose and the vacuum hose situated underneath the tank. Next, remove the tank support strap and slide the tank off. Stripping the carbs. Here are some of the recommended tools required to do the job. No special tools are required. It is, however, important that you use flat-sided screwdrivers. Not this type. First, remove the aluminium carb tops, which are the same on all 3 carburetors. Remove the spring and then the diaphragm assembly. Push out the needle plate. Now make sure that the diaphragms go back into the same bodies they were removed from. Pull off the fuel and vacuum hoses and remove the support bar. We can see that this carb has had fuel lying in the chamber for some time. Now this is fairly typical and it can be cleaned with a bit of effort. This process will be shown later on. Next, remove the float pin. The float needle valve assembly, then the gasket. If some of it gets stuck, just remove as much of it as you can at this point. Now check the pilot pipe. This here is the bottom view. Here's the pilot outlet. Before carrying out this test, you must put the pilot screw in the carb body and check its condition. Now in this case, the one at the top would need replacing. Screw fully in, then turn out 3/4 of a turn. Sometimes 1 turnout may produce less surging. Now spray carb cleaner into the pilot inlet and make sure there's a good flow. Next, check the fuel inlet and if it's blocked, use compressed air to clear. Assembly. First to be assembled is the choke. Make sure that the choke plunger is able to move up and down freely. Tighten it using a 12mm spanner. Having done that, just lift the plunger and release. It should snap back down onto its seat. Replace the gasket, making sure it doesn't fold over. Next to be fitted is the butterfly shaft. Start with the left carb, fitting the throttle valve adjust screw. This is the type that was fitted on the earlier models. The later type used a spring. Don't forget the circlip. Now we're fitting the components in the float chamber. Fit a new O-ring on the needle jet. Check the holes have no blockages. Fit the gasket. This is a genuine Suzuki gasket. Some aftermarket gaskets may need trimming to fit. Fit the needle valve and filter if it's in good condition. Screw it in, not forgetting the washer. The main jet specifications are size 110 for the 2 outside carbs and size 107.5 for the centre carb. The reason for this is that the centre carb runs warmer, increasing flow, and there's a 2 cc difference in the capacity of the centre cylinder. Now screw in the pilot jet, again firm but do not over-tighten. Standard size for this jet is 47.5, but you may find that 45 is fitted. This makes little difference and may just be due to varying emission laws or altitude. Carb tops. These are the components required to fit the diaphragm assembly. Firstly, fit the circlet midway onto the needle, making sure it's clipped in firmly. This is how needle position has an effect on plug temperature. The middle one is the ideal colour for a 2-stroke engine. Lightly grease the outer edge of the carb, ready for the diaphragm. This will help to seal and keep it in place when fitting the top. 6 screws hold the carb support bracket in place, but do not tighten these at this stage. Fit the top bracket screws again without making them too tight. Use a straight edge to check that all of the carbs are aligned correctly before the final tighten. This helps to keep the carbs balanced at wider throttle openings. Choke bar. Here are the choke bar components. Push the bar along. Put Loctite on each of the screws. Cable route. Adjust the nuts where the cables meet the handlebar throttle so there are no extreme angles. Bring the cables over the right side of the frame. We recommend that you fit the cables to the carbs while they're off the bike, as it's near impossible to fit them when the carbs are in place. Here's the correct position for the carb intake rubbers. You can see that there's a slight ramp. This is showing how the throttle adjusts the oil pump. When the engine isn't running, it doesn't always return. This is nothing to worry about. Here are the 2 aligning marks showing that this is correctly set with a closed throttle. Here you can see the position for running in a rebuilt engine. This setting provides more oil. Switch the fuel tap to prime to allow the carbs to fill with fuel. This should only take about 1 minute, and you must then return the tap to the on position. This will then only allow fuel to flow when the engine is running. We hope that this DVD has been of assistance to you. Don't forget you can contact us at the email address shown if you want any further assistance.